hear again the words we heard from Jesus. I invite you to follow along in the bulletin if you'd like. In the 12th chapter of Luke, here's what Jesus said. I came to bring fire to the earth, and how I wish it were already kindled. I have a baptism with which to be baptized, and what stress I am under until it is completed. Do you think that I have come to bring peace to the earth? No, I tell you, but rather division. Well, let's just stop right there and ask, what? Jesus didn't come to bring peace, but rather division? Isn't this Jesus, the one we call the Prince of Peace? Isn't this the Jesus who over and over again in the Gospels comes to say, peace be with you? The one who, following his example, we share the peace of the Lord each time we gather to worship? Why did Jesus say, I didn't come to bring peace, but rather division? Well, perhaps the reason Jesus said this has something to do with what he's been talking about up to this point in the gospel story that we read in Luke. There's a context. There's some things happening that we want to be aware of. Jesus has had lots of important words, challenging words, to share with the disciples and the crowds in the 12th chapter of Luke. Things like this. Things like, be fearless in your confession when you are stating your faith before those who might persecute you. Or, warning, disciples, you will be hauled before authorities who will want to put you to death, but the Spirit will give you words to share. Or warnings given in the parable of the rich fool about greed. Or warnings given in the parable about the master who comes at midnight, about being ready for the unexpected return of the Son of Man. See, the 12th chapter of Luke is difficult teaching, difficult words. And so one could almost imagine the disciples, after hearing this difficult bit of warnings and exhortations from Jesus, stopping and shrugging their shoulders and saying, hey, we thought you were going to be a Lord and Messiah who gave us everything we wanted, who said a bunch of stuff that would make us feel good. What's this? What's with all the warnings and difficult words? And Jesus responds, do you think that I've come to bring peace? No, I tell you, but rather division. Do you think I have come, in other words, to tell you a bunch of pleasant and peaceful sounding stuff? No, I tell you, but rather difficult and divisive things, but true things. True things. When we read the Gospels, we don't often get pleasantries from Jesus. What we do hear Jesus share is truth. And sometimes that truth is hard for us to comprehend, and even hard for us to accept. But Jesus does speak the truth. He speaks the truth to us about sin and the way that it gets in the way of our relationship with God. Jesus speaks the truth about the coming of God's kingdom into the world. Jesus speaks the truth about the cost of discipleship, what it will mean to follow him. Jesus speaks the truth about the cross, the ultimate way that God deals with the brokenness of the world. And sometimes those truths are hard to understand. In a way, maybe in these words, Jesus is letting us know that his message then and his message for us now, isn't going to be just nice sounding good isms, right? The gospel is much more serious than that. It breaks hearts. It divides minds. It changes things. So yes, we know that the truth Jesus shares has the potential to bring peace. But we also know that it has the potential to upset us, to ruffle our feathers, to spark disagreements, and stir competing priorities between people, even people we care about. You probably have had experiences in your own life, just those sorts of things. Maybe what we can take from these difficult words of Jesus today is a new sense of urgency in seeking what is true, of speaking truth, not just what sounds nice. For instance, when there is a death, even a death as tragic like the one that has affected the River Bluff community this week, it would be easy to throw pleasant-sounding words at the problem and to pretend to comfort ourselves with cliches about life and death. But there is a more serious truth about the pain of loss, about the way God hates death, and how God sent Jesus into the horrors of death so that there is no place, not even death's sorrow, where Jesus will not come to be with us. Or when confronted with issues of injustice, when we are witness to a wrong, it would be easy to just keep quiet, right? Say nothing. Keep the peace. And not stir things up between ourselves and others. But there is a right and wrong. There is a truth about the ways of justice and love that God calls us to as His people. Or as we live our own life, it would be easier to sit back and relax and take care of ourselves. Live large today without an eye towards God's preferred future. But Jesus preaches a truth, that we should be on watch, that we should be ready, that we should know how to live faithfully here and now. And so do those truths bring us peace? Or do they light a fire within us? Listen, today some of us are hurting, frazzled, worried about school, weighed down by grief, in need of some comfort or relief. And if that's where you are today, take heart and know that Jesus really is the one of peace, who says, "Come to me, all who are weighed down by heavy burdens, and I will give you rest." But on the other hand, if faith right now feels too easy and complacent, too pleasant for you, if that's where you are, then be stirred up. Be fired up by the one who says, "Do you think I want peace? No, I tell you, much, much more." He comforts the afflicted and afflicts the comfortable. That's what we always say. Whichever you are today, may Jesus move in you.